make them pay for playing gimmicky defense.
If you eliminate Steph, Steph can't hurt you. And this is what's going to lead to a warm-up practice three.
The scoring factory on three. 1, 2, 3, scoring factory.
What's going on, everybody? Coach Kevin with the Scoring Factory, back with episode 27 of our breakdown series. Today, we're looking at one of the most unique defensive strategies used against a star since prime James Harden.
The winner of this one will match up against the winner of the... Get a couple of free throws as well. And the three-pointers up.
How the Hornets might have figured out Steph Curry.
They don't see everything that's going on. Steph just walked into the vomitory pretending he's going to the locker room to see if Colin Sexton was going to follow him. He did.
And how you might rethink how to guard shooters and how to get shooters shots moving forward. So let's get right into it. The Warriors played the Hornets this past Saturday, and while that might sound like a relatively uneventful game, clips went viral post-game of Draymond and Steph talking about how the Hornets were gimmicky.
We was able to knock them down, make them pay for playing gimmicky defense.
And not even playing basketball.
There's a part of you that like fights it just because it's not real basketball.
So what were the Hornets doing, and why did it get this reaction? Let's take a look. First, let's take a look at the coverage. So as you look at this still frame, the basketball is in the high post, and you can see most of the Hornets defenders are somewhere in help if they are not guarding the ball. They're a little bit out of position, but you can notice one of those Hornets defenders is definitively not in help, and that's Josh Green, because he is guarding Steph Curry, and he does not want to drop in to help for this ball to be kicked out to Curry for a three. Even if it's contested, that doesn't matter. It's Steph Curry. They don't want to give that up. So this isn't all that out of the ordinary, but watch as the ball goes to the corner. Green barely even turns his head to see where the ball is. He is only focused on Steph. And this really turns into more of 4-on-4 as Curry kind of starts to walk away and give his team space. It looks like he's not a part of the play, and Josh Green is most certainly not part of the play because his only job is to guard Steph Curry. Now take a look at this clip. This is one of the Warriors' first possessions of the game. What's wrong here? Well, if you count, there's only 8 guys that appear to be on the court right now. Basketball's played 5-on-5, not 4-on-4. But as you see this play develop, you can finally start to see Curry is being guarded physically at half court to the point where he can't even move, which is really just leaving this as a 4-on-4 matchup. Now, while this sounds in theory or on paper like a good idea, if you eliminate Steph, Steph can't hurt you, and Steph's their best player. So if their best player can't hurt you, you should be in a more favorable position to win. The Hornets held Steph to only 14 points on 2 threes made. So is this something that could be used more consistently against great shooters like Steph Curry? Well, in reality, no, and the Hornets lost this game by 20 for a reason. Here's the problem with face guarding in the NBA. You're not just taking one player out, you're also choosing not to help anywhere else. By denying Steph 94 feet, the Hornets effectively played 4-on-4 behind the ball, and in today's NBA, that's just a losing equation. The quality of role players is simply too high. If you don't tag cutters, you don't stun at drivers, you don't shrink the floor, someone's going to take advantage of the space you're giving them. Draymond becomes a decision maker with room to work. Wings can cut without being bumped. Guards can turn the corner without seeing a second body. And suddenly that defense that was supposed to take something away is actually giving the offense exactly what it wants: time, space, and clarity. And this is why schemes like this tend to work better in college and even better in high school, where offensive role players are less consistent decision makers and scorers. But in the NBA, everybody can play. What makes this especially interesting is how little Golden State panicked. They didn't force the ball to Steph. They didn't stop running their offense. Instead, they leaned into one of the most underrated parts of Curry's game, which is what he does without the ball. Steph becomes a screener. He drags 2 defenders into actions. He forces switches that the defense doesn't want. And because he's the best shooter ever, defenders can't cheat, even when he's not involved in the play. You'll see him screen, slip, relocate, and suddenly the defense has to decide. Do we keep denying or do we help? And the moment they hesitate, that's when the Warriors strike. This clip is my favorite example of this from the other night. So Steph is going to be right here. Now watch, as this ball gets kicked out, Steph is going to cut / screen, kind of a mix of both. And normally what would happen is this would be switched off and then Sexton would come out and guard here. But instead, Sexton is going to stay with Curry. He is completely ignoring the fact that there is a wide open Gary Payton there to shoot a three. Curry runs into Miles Bridges, and they do not care about getting back out. And this is what's going to lead to a warm-up practice three. Now, this doesn't mean that face guarding or top blocking is useless. It can be effective when it's used selectively. End of quarters, after timeout, late clock situations where you're forcing a specific player to make a counter read under pressure. The key is that it has to be a tool and not your entire identity. Once you commit to full denial, you're making a trade. We're willing to live with everything else. And against teams like Golden State and around the NBA, that's a really dangerous bet. So how do the Warriors get Steph shots? Because everybody knows that he's the best shooter in the world. So here, what they like to do is, as Steph has the ball here, they will use a non-shooter, whether that's Draymond, whether it used to be Kevon Looney, whoever it may be. Steph will run a get action with them, which means he's going to pass the ball and then he is going to chase his pass to go get it back. Because LeBron is down here not respecting the shooting ability here, it's going to force Davis to then either call for a switch or chase it over. In this case, LeBron's going to be late. And when you have a great shooter or someone as great as Steph Curry, that's automatic. And even if it's not, LeBron contesting so far out would lead to that little dump off pass if he wanted to take it. So here's another example of this exact same get action. He is going to throw to Looney here. Now he's going to go chase. And you might be asking, why is this any different than if this was just a pick and roll? Well, what it does is it forces Sabonis here to not be able to come up and hedge this screen. Because if he tries to get, and when we're hedging, a lot of times that means that Sabonis will go around and show right here so that Fox can chase this over. If Sabonis is there right now, Looney can just take off to the basket because he has the ball. So being in a get or a chase, or some people call it zoom, whatever it is in this handoff situation, limits the defense's options. So now you're forced into playing what is essentially drop coverage against one of the greatest shooters of all time. And that's not an option that you want to have. That would never be the choice in an actual pick and roll situation. Here's another really creative way that the Warriors can get into this. Anytime they want to get the ball in someone else's hands, giving it to Curry for a three. So as they operate into this kind of drag, empty side drag screen here, DiVincenzo is going to come off and attack. And now what happens is when he draws this help in, he's able to kick it out. And now, again, it's basically 2-on-1 against Ja here. Ja can't go under because that's an easy three. But even as he chases over, he's going to get clipped by this screen. And now you have Curry wide open for three. And if he really wanted to, Ja's contesting. They have the second help contesting here. He could throw this little pocket pass to Looney, and now you're playing with an advantage. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's an and one. Steph is known for his off-ball movement, and because he moves off the ball so well, it allows the Warriors to have such a variety of options if they want to get him a shot. So as he's going to cut through here, this is another Warriors favorite to get him a look. As he cuts through, we're going to move the ball, and as soon as we move the ball here, it's going to be a pin down screen for Steph. Again, if you chase this over, he's going to curl it, and now he's attacking the rim. If you chase under, it's obviously going to go up as a three. And even if you do chase it over, sometimes if you get clipped by that screen, it's enough. So here, we try to shoot the gap through here to get to him. Curry's smart enough and realizes that and takes about a half step this way as the ball is coming so that he's open, and that's a three. And again, with anybody else, these maybe not be the best shots, but with Steph, all you need is an inch of space. Here's another clip showing Steph's amazing off-ball movement combined with a pin-down screen into a three for him. So he's going to start on the ball here in this ball screen situation. They are going to try to play drop here. which means Horford's going to sink back as Brown chases this over the top. His goal is he has to stay attached to Steph, otherwise this isn't going to work and it's just going to be an open three. He does a decent job of getting back and making sure that if this shot tries to go up, he can get a hand on it there. But now, as Steph moves the ball out, immediately starts running out and around. So as the ball moves again, and he sees Steph coming, we set this screen, Steph's gonna chase it over, we pitch it right back, and right now, this is an open look for the best shooter in the world. Yes, we get 2 late contests, and that makes it look like a really difficult shot, but as he's getting his eyes set on the rim, there is no contest and no one in his line of sight, and so that is going to be an easy make for the greatest shooter ever. So yes, the Hornets tried something extreme, and yes, it went viral. But the bigger takeaway isn't whether it was gimmicky or not, it's why it failed. In today's NBA, you simply can't remove one star and expect everything else to hold. The floor is too spaced, the players are too skilled, and the best offenses don't rely on one player beating you. They rely on forcing you to help and punishing you when you do. And as long as that's true, completely face guarding Steph Curry will always be more spectacle than solution. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Follow us on our social medias at The Scoring Factory, and as always, I will see everybody in the next video.